I'm here in San Diego at the IANS conference. I am a near-death experiencer 2 times, and I would like to tell you about my experience. My first experience was a car accident that happened in Pennsylvania. I was driving on the turnpike and I was entering a tunnel when I heard something similar to a gunshot, and I lost control of my car. My father's face came to me and he said, "Go with the skid," which I attempted to do. The next thing I recall seeing was blue and green and some red flashing behind it. After that, I was above my body in an emergency room while the team of emergency staff, police, and everyone was trying to help bring me back to life. And the doctor was very distraught, and I recall him saying, "If I lose this one, I will quit. I can't handle this anymore." And as I was floating above my body, at the time I wasn't sure it was my body, but later I realized that is me down there. I wound up knowing everything about everybody in the room, which I found fascinating. And once I had everything that I needed to know about that, I raised up through the ceiling, my essence raised up, and I came to a floor that had a lot of patients in one room. And I wound up knowing everything about them, who was dying and when, who was going home, who was having a party when they did go home. And I got bored with that, and I raised up some more, and I was out of the hospital. And I kept rising up, and the higher I rose, I felt lighter and freer. It was like my body was, the constricted form that my spirit and soul were in was falling away. I noticed a milky opalescent, like umbilical cord leading back down to where my body was, but as I was rising up, it just kept moving with me and stretching. And I got up so high that all of a sudden the world was like a blue marble, like you see when the space shuttle takes off. And I was, wow, this is great. And then I realized, I don't know where I'm going because I'm going backwards. So I flipped over, and the Milky Way was a couple feet in front of me. And I decided I didn't know where I was going, so I had to ask a question: where do I need to go? And I looked at all the stars, and I saw one fairly faint but medium-sized star, and I thought, that's where I need to go. I just instinctively knew. You ask a question and boom, you're there. It was instantaneous. And as I was entering what I call the tunnel of light, people were greeting me, and some of the people were still alive on Earth, but they were there greeting me, and along with people who had passed to the other side. They were welcoming me. There was music playing, and I didn't care. I just had this drive to get to the light, the source, the power, which was totally blinding light, yet I could look at it. It was almost an oxymoron. And I got to the light, and I said, why was my life so difficult? And the essence, the light, God, whatever you want to call it, the source, said, don't you remember you chose this? And he brought in some guides that individually took me to a table and said, remember when you chose this? You also chose these things, and we told you not to because it was too much to handle. So, but you insisted, you wanted to do it. And then they sent in more guides who went through the same process because I kept choosing a lot of things. Apparently, I wanted to do it all in one lifetime. And then I recall the choices I made pre-birth, which sort of solidified and said that was okay. So I went back to the light, and the light says, now it's time to judge your life. And I did a life review, which to me appeared as a film strip with the leader holes to it. In each frame was a different instance of something that happened in my life. And I came to one that I was very regretful over, and a boy used to torment me, and I finally reacted one day and I hurt him, and I regretted that. And I told the light that that's what I regretted, and the light told me, well, you know, you've achieved what you went there to do, and you may stay here in the light. But we have another thing we want to offer you. And they opened what I call door number 2, and they opened it a crack, and they said, or you can go back and achieve what's behind door number 2. And I questioned him, the source, and I said, would that mean the doctor's going to remain a doctor? He won't quit his profession? And the source said, yes, he will remain a doctor if you go back. And I said, I was giddy with joy, and I said, then I'm going back. I want him to remain a doctor. That's my gift to him. And I was popped right back into my body instantly. And when I woke up in the hospital room, I was still with glass and blood and and amnesia. And I had amnesia for a couple months, and but the memory of the experience was there, but I had no memory of anything else. I didn't know who I was, where I was. Even when they told me, I had no clue what they were talking about. And a couple days later, they found my family, and my family came and got me, and I didn't want to go with them because I didn't know who they were. And it took me 30 years to find out what I had was a near-death experience. And I was so thankful for the person who told me what it was that I had, because no one, when I tried to talk to him about my experience, wanted to listen to me. So I'm very thankful that this organization exists, that the support groups exist, and that people can find solace in what they offer.
How do you explain the fact that you met people on the other side who are still alive?
I explain it to people like it's the ocean. You take out a cup of water from the ocean. That cup of water is still the ocean. It represents everything that the ocean is. I believe from my experience that our Creator, our God, we are just extensions of them. So we are every place, just like the belief of God is everywhere. We are everywhere. And you can be in many places at many times on different levels.
Has this experience changed your life?
Yes, it has, dramatically.
How?
Many ways. I was born and raised Catholic, and I never felt that that was correct. I am non-denominational. I believe that goodness and love are where it's all at, and I try and live in the moment and be respectful of everybody, no matter where they're at in their life or what they do or anything, whether it's a homeless person on the street who is a drug addict, I will still respect him and say good day to him, you know. It's also changed me where I have psychic powers, I have healing powers, I have intuitive powers. I hear things, I smell things, I get messages in many ways. Don't know what to do with them a lot of times.
How do you have psychic powers?
I was meditating in New England when a friend was in California biking cross country with his children, and in the meditation I got, he's hurt. He was forced to go into an emergency walk-in and he didn't want to do it. So I called his wife and I said, when he gets back into town, please have him call me, it's very urgent. So when he did get in town, he did call me. He told me all about his trip, but he left out the part of the accident. So I questioned him, I said, and what about the accident? He says, what day, what time, how did you know? And I said, I didn't think to write it down, the date and time, but I knew it was in the morning when I was meditating. And he confirmed that, and I guessed. I said it was like 4 days into your trip, and he said 5 days. Or no, 3 days or something like that. And anyways, I was in the ballpark, and I just knew, I felt he was hurt. I sensed it, I felt it, it was strong, it was powerful, and I knew it.